This is Generation Stadia, giving you that daily dose of everything and anything cloud gaming related, and today I'm here to give you my first impressions of Cyberpunk 2077 on GeForce Now. Right off the bat, I do want to clarify that the game code was provided by Nvidia. That being said, I am giving my honest thoughts and overview of the game experience on the GeForce Now platform. And rest assured that I will include all the good and bad that comes along with it. And just to be clear, this isn't about my thoughts on the game itself, more so what the experience is like playing it in the cloud through GeForce Now. It is worth pointing out that I am on a founder's plan that gives me priority access to the servers, a 6-hour session length, and also the ability to turn RTX on. This costs just $4.99 a month, but there is also a free plan that gives members standard access to the servers and unlimited 1-hour sessions. But now with all of that out of the way, let's begin by talking about the good, and it feels great being able to crank up those settings on such a highly anticipated title on a GeForce Now server blade. Even better than that, the game's frame rate tends to keep up quite well. If you're willing to make a few sacrifices in the settings here and there, you can play with RTX on at a smooth 60 FPS. That said, the gameplay you're seeing on the background is pretty much with everything cranked up to max. And I think that's what's most surprising here. This game is extremely demanding. By this time, you've probably all been made aware of just how poor this game runs on last-gen consoles. Not only that, but most users' PCs probably can't run the game anywhere near this level of fidelity. So being able to pay a very small fee to play on a high-end PC with ray tracing enabled is actually quite a mind-blowing experience to say the least. Additionally, I do need to point out that I was really shocked at just how well this played on keyboard and mouse. It felt like I was playing it natively on my local PC, which was not something I was expecting when going into this. I've tried plenty of other cloud gaming services for quite some time, but I've always kind of referred to the controller because it typically always played better that way. But I was quite surprised to see just how well the keyboard and mouse setup worked on GeForce Now. And believe me, I think for this game, it's probably the ideal way to play the game. You're gonna be constantly looking at picking up a bunch of things all around the world and tapping F quite repeatedly, and it's just a much easier experience than pressing square and then trying to aim with your analog stick constantly. But even with that said, I have played on the controller and it controls perfectly fine as well. I have it constantly connected because I do switch over to it whenever I need to drive around in a vehicle. And that has nothing to do with the streaming experience, by the way. I've just always sucked at driving when playing on keyboard. But what I'm really trying to get across here is that the two most important aspects about playing a video game are huge positives here. GeForce Now manages to deliver on both the visual and gameplay front, and that's a huge plus. The fact that you can adjust the settings to your liking is also a big bonus. It's what allows you to tailor the experience to what you come to expect of it. If you want to have that rock solid 60 FPS, you can do that. If you want to have the best looking game possible, no matter the frame rate, you can do that too. But now let's move over to the more negative side of things. While the experience was great, it wasn't perfect by any means, and I need to discuss that too. We're gonna start by talking about the launch experience, because I was there waiting for this game to unlock only to find out that it wasn't ready on the hour. Now, truthfully speaking, this isn't something that really bothered me all that much. I don't mind waiting an hour or two for a game to unlock, but I know some people out there really do care about this sort of thing. Basically, it was handled in waves. First the GOG version of the game, then the Steam, and then the Epic Game Store. The first two didn't really take too long, but the third had to wait until the following day, which is a bit of a bummer, but they ran into some hiccups with Epic Games. Luckily, that's all been resolved now and all versions of the game are available to stream. Like I said, for myself, not that big of a deal, but I definitely know some people out there would be pretty upset about it. What is a big deal for me is the queue times. GeForce Now, even through Founders Tier, while you do have priority access, isn't instant access. And from my experience booting up the game during this release period, I have had to wait a few times in queue. It's never been very long for me, around 5 minutes tops, but I know some people out there are reporting much higher queue times. This could seriously affect any of you who are playing with time constraints for one reason or another. It's worth pointing out that this isn't always the case either. There are times I can get into the game without queue, and I'm sure that right now the servers are getting hit pretty hard since we're this close to release. I imagine within a week's time this won't really be much of a problem, but it may be next time a huge release happens. And I should also point out, if you plan on playing on the free tier, you will be seeing some much longer queue times than I'm experiencing here. Those two issues really cover most of the bad that I have to say about my time with GeForce Now though. And truthfully speaking, there's a good chance by the time you may be watching this video, it's no longer an issue whatsoever. But ultimately, I felt like including it because it's not every day a game as big and as hyped as Cyberpunk 2077 drops. Now, before giving you my closing thoughts, there is one more thing I want to talk about though, and it didn't really fit into the good or bad section because depending on who you are, it could be both. The overall user experience of Nvidia GeForce Now gives you a very tailored experience to your taste. As it's the PC version of the game, you pretty much have all the options available to you, and this is a huge positive in my books. But if you are used to the console experience and want that sort of ease of use where you just click a game and you're instantly playing it where you don't have to think of anything else, then this isn't it. Very much so like PC gaming, you're gonna have to deal with launchers when booting up a game in GeForce Now. You're gonna have to log into your accounts, and then if you have two-factor authentication, you're gonna have to deal with that too. But much like PC gaming, you also get the huge benefit of being able to adjust the game on the fly to however you want. You don't have to worry whether a setting is toggleable or not. It absolutely is on here. If you rather sacrifice shadows for better looking textures, that's always an option. What GeForce Now really excels at is giving you the high-end PC experience at a very affordable price. But it very much so is that, the PC experience, the good and the bad sides of it. But ultimately, let's cut to the chase and answer the question titled in the video. Is Cyberpunk 2077 worth picking up on GeForce Now? Absolutely. It's probably one of the best options you have for picking up the game, and it's well worth your time in checking out if you have any sort of interest in it. Like I said at the beginning of the video, this isn't about me just telling you whether or not Cyberpunk 2077 is a good or bad game. I'm far too early into the game to give you any sort of concrete judgment on that aspect, but I am here to tell you that if you're considering picking the game up, you really should consider the GeForce Now version. There are a few things I didn't mention in this impressions video, such as the fact that you can take this game on the go on your phone, be it Android or iOS. You can play it on your TV through your Nvidia Shield, your Chromebook, and many other devices, but I didn't focus on those because I haven't personally played on them just yet. I will be doing a much more in-depth review of GeForce Now, and I will be covering its news going forward. So if that sort of content interests you, consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell as well to not miss out. And yes, for those wondering, because I have been asked about it a lot, I will be also talking about the Stadia version and how it compares to GeForce Now. I'll be doing an initial impressions of that version, much like I did for this one, and then a comparison of the two to let you know which I think is best. Despite the channel name, I've always committed to being truthful with my opinions not only on Stadia, but every other gaming platform I talk about on the channel. I myself own a high-end gaming PC that I can play locally on, but I really am interested in the cloud technology, and I also own a PS5 and Xbox Series X. Feel like clarifying that specifically because I know many of you out there will be watching this video and be on the channel for the first time. Either way, if you enjoyed the video, consider hitting that like button since it really does help the channel out, and if you happen to have any questions regarding the game or the GeForce Now experience, let me know in the comments section below. I'll be sure to answer whatever I can, so feel free to ask away. Today's end of video message is just going to be a quick shout out to the winner of yesterday's giveaway, who is Watkins T.L. I've replied on your comment with instructions on how to get the key from me. I hope to hear from you soon, and congrats on winning. I give you all my thanks for watching the video. This has been Generation Stadia, giving you that daily dose of everything and anything cloud gaming related. The Gen S community is over 6,200 strong and growing by the day, and until next time, I'll catch you in the clouds.